the all new 2022 Ford Bronco. I don't know about you all, but this is by far the best looking example of Frankenstein. I mean by Frankenstein, taking something that was dead a long time ago and bringing it back to life. I mean, just look at it. Absolutely beautiful. Can't get any better than that. Better than the Chevy Blazer, for Christ's sake. Now, pretty simple design. This is the Big Bend version. Really not much to tell about it. It's pretty basic on the interior. As we get in here, pretty basic. The doors, there's really very little electronics on it. You just have a lock and unlock. These doors actually do come off. You do have to unbolt them to take them off. And just note that Ford, when they were thinking about this, they said, you know what? These guys are gonna want to take these doors off, so let's make them pretty heavy. And let's make them to where we have to kind of do some weird configurement in the back just to put them in there. So the front doors are 60 pounds, the back doors are 40 pounds. That's not a lot of weight, but when it comes down to taking them off at the spur of the moment and then hopefully able to use your back end, the trunk, you can't, because it takes up way too much room. Good thinking, guys. The top does come off on one of these. So far as me and my editor have been able to figure out, it goes back as one, and then I'm pretty sure this whole other piece is another piece. I'm not even gonna take that off. That is way too much work, way too much work. I'm fat, this is why I'm fat. It's too much goddamn work. So, this is my seating position, pretty good leg room. In the front, I'm a pretty big guy. I've got plenty of room to go up, out, it does not matter. I feel pretty good in this. Pocket space, there's not a lot of storage in this, believe it or not. There's a little bit here, a little bit in the center, a little bit in the front, and that is pretty much it for just regular hideaway space. There's really not that much going on in this truck, which realistically is good. That's not been bad. With that being said, I'm a 6'3" guy. This, with keeping that seating position, is how much room is in the back seat. My knees are buried into the seat here. I don't even take advantage of this loophole right here for the knees, because there you go. Is that better? I couldn't imagine going off-roading. Obviously, I could probably give up just a little bit more room in the front, but I can't imagine going off-roading in something like this. Obviously, if I'm snugged in here, I ain't going that far. But when it comes down to it, this is your only grab handle. There's no handle here, there's no handle here. It's really bare on bare handles. Even on the front end here, even on the passenger side, there's really not that many handles. There should be more handles for you to hold on to, and there's only this one. On the front, there's only this, and maybe your door, if you even have the doors on, but that's all you have is a handle for that. Not a fan of that. They should have done better. They should have put maybe one or two more on the passenger side to make you feel like you have some kind of control of yourself. Overall, it's not half bad. It is the 2.3 liter turbo on this. With that being said, on the 2.3 liter, it does have about 300 horsepower. Trunk space on this is not terribly bad. I like how this will open that far. I mean, look how open does that. That's incredible. It goes beyond the 90-degree limit. That is incredible. Now, the only problem I found with this that even me and my editor have been trying to figure out is how to get this open, and then we have yet to figure that out. There is even a hook here, what looks like to prop it up after it's been opened, but we can't figure it out. So someone's geniuser than me. We can't figure this out. I have no idea. I'm just thankful that they put the spare on the back end of this thing. I think it just blows my mind how good this is. The sport version, their smaller version, is trash. It should have never been made. That's what they should have called the Bronco too. I'm glad they kept the name on this Bronco. It really justifies what the Bronco used to be. At least in this one, you can run away from the cops and actually probably get away. Now the cool part about this is if your trunk space in the back is not big enough, you can put this down before putting it down, push this button, lay it flat, and there you go. You have a completely flat space to put more items in. It's just about like a truck. I like that. That is really nifty. They should have did that in the Ford Maverick. It really is universal on all aspects. Every window switch is in the center. I mean, this is legitimately a really good truck. But the only problem I have with it is it's a little on the pricey side. You're paying for the name at the end of the day. Bronco. Now this Bronco, which is the Big Bend version, not that many options, about $40,000. $40,000 for this thing. Now, the last video, you guys kept going over the fact of, well, that's not what the dealership sold it to me for. I have the sticker. The sticker says 40 grand. That doesn't mean the dealer's going to charge you 40 grand. They're probably going to charge you more than that. Honestly, on the outside of the truck, there's really not much to it. Wheels, 4 wheels, an engine, and some windows. You really don't need to know anything more on the outside. Obviously, the options list on these is outrageously huge. You can go crazy. We could be out here for hours, but I don't have hours. I've got minutes. So let's go for a drive, and let's see what she can really do. So, what I've noticed it drives like a truck. It really does drive a truck. It doesn't drive like an SUV. It feels more like a solid axle truck. It doesn't feel like it doesn't have that independent feel. It's really sturdy, it's really rigid. Now, that's not always a bad thing. That's typically what a lot of them will use off-roading. So we have to look at this as an off-roading truck. For $40,000, it's not bad. It really isn't. It compares to the Ford Wrangler. And honestly, for someone who's never driven a Wrangler, I doubt it's any better than this. I really do. Now, obviously, it does have two-wheel drive. It has 4 high, 4 low, and it's got a lot of options you can do. You know, sport mode, eco mode, slippery, wet, sand, mud, dirt. It's got all these other modes, which that's all well and good and everything. But I mean, you're still trying to push a lot of this out of a little 4-cylinder. Now, the thing that doesn't make sense to me is this 4-cylinder is a 300 horsepower. That makes plenty of sense. I completely get it. That is absolutely astonishing how much power this thing can push out of a little 4-cylinder. Now, when it comes down to the reality of would I want to deal with a 4-cylinder? Absolutely not. I would not want to deal with a 4-cylinder. Honestly, I wish this thing came with a V8. If it had the V8 option, feels like there's windows open. That's another thing that's wrong with this. It's got the rag top on it, and boy, it sounds like, right now, I'm going to be quiet. I want to see if you guys can't hear this. Sounds like the windows are open. It gets me every time I drive this. It sounds like the windows are completely wide open, and I've got wind coming in from somewhere. And you know what they say, if you got wind that comes in, you're going to have rain that follows pursuit. Let's just hope that's not true. Now, just driving down this road isn't smooth, nor is it really that rough. You're seeing it rough because it's acting rough, right? I mean, this thing, I'd say out of 10, 10 being the worst thing ever, it's probably about a 3 or 4 for Oklahoma standards. It's really not that bad. And yet it feels like I'm going off-road, like that dirt road. I'm just going consistently all the time off-road. Now, for gas mileage, the sticker says it gets about 20 miles to the gallon. On road, city, that's really what it says. Now, does it really? I don't know. I really don't care to know. I didn't get this truck to be good on fuel economy. I got it for off-roading purposes. I got it for fun. I think it's pretty cool is looking at the front of this thing, you can see the 2 hook points on the very front. That's pretty cool. It gives you just that old feeling that you got that old truck feel, but you're really not in an old truck. You're in something relatively new. When it comes down to the interior, I'm actually impressed. They made everything pretty neutral. What I mean by neutral is they made it to where it's not so flamboyant. It can take a hit. Everything's rubber. Everything has rubber on it, and I love it. I love the fact that it's got rubber. It's got everything that I would expect a truck that can be. I would hope I could submerge this thing and everything in here would still work. When it comes down to it, the circulation and the air does not come through the infotainment center. It comes actually out of knobs, which thankfully it does come out of knobs. I hate to see where this comes out of. I hate touchscreen, period. I hate touchscreen stuff. I like knobs. I like knowing where everything's going, especially with these knobs down here. We also do have a shifter. Which I love about this truck is they do offer a manual version of this truck, which thank God for that. I was hoping they would. Now, is the manual option any good? I don't think it matters. I think at that point it's for preference. I would probably go with the manual. Honestly, me personally would go with the manual just for the fact that the 10-speed on these trucks, it's not that great. I will be quite honest, unless this one's been retuned and recalibrated for off-roading purposes, which I have no idea, I'm not a big fan of the 10-speed. Do I feel it shift? Do I feel it go? No, I don't feel that problem, but when you're going off-road and stuff, you don't want something that's going to just sit there and continuously shift. You know, you put a 10-speed automatic in a 4-cylinder, that's just a little overkill. What is my main beef with this truck? For $40,000, I'm not getting much out of it. I really am not. To me, I feel like I'm not. I mean, I'm probably not seeing this in the correct eyesight because for 40 grand, I mean, I'm getting a basic interior. I've got no heated seats, no cooled seats. Obviously, why would you need that? It's an off-road rig. But are you off-roading all the time? No, you're not. This screen in the middle here, I really wish it didn't have that. You know, if you're trying to make me feel like this is an old vehicle, I wish it didn't have this screen. There's just so much going on it. I mean, there's obviously some cool options you can put on here. Like for instance, you can put how much tilt this thing's got, how much angle, how much with the off-roading settings. That's all well and good, but I honestly don't care for all that. That's just my personal preference. Some vehicles, yes, put it on there. I'm excited to have it. I'm sorry if I'm yelling because there's quite a bit of air in here. You can hear just the air running across the rag top, and it's a little much. It really is. If the dealership is selling this thing for more, I mean, Ford said we're going to sell this particular version for 60 grand. There's no way in hell I'd pay for it. 40 grand, I could stretch that. Now, when we do these videos, I grab it from the personality of you and me, not the people who have got money at the wazoo and who gives a shit type of money. I do these over the fact that I have a budget. I do pretty well for myself. Well, at least I used to until this inflation kicked around. But I do well for myself and my family. And with that being said, would I take this home and be proud to say that I have a Bronco that I could drive daily? Honestly, no. This is very uncomfortable. I still don't think you understand. It's very bouncy. Like it's very, 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 very bouncy. It's not a very smooth ride. There's that complication where it feels like an off-roader, but yet it's too much off-road. But I can feel everything, and it's not a good feeling. I don't like that feeling. This is a really good example of a Ford trying to beat the Wrangler, and I tell you what, good job. I'm happy that the Ford made their own. I'm happy they brought back the Bronco. I really am, and I'm glad they called it the Bronco and not the Express or some crazy gibberish like that. I'm glad they called it Bronco. The back seats, yeah, I mean, it could be a little bit better. I'm a pretty tall guy. Not a lot of people are going to be my height, but could you do a family vehicle in this? It'd be tight. It would be a tight journey, but yeah, we can definitely do it. Would I want a rag top or a hard top? I'll tell you right now, just the way this thing sounds right here, I would want the hard top. I'm never really going to take off the doors. Maybe I'll put the top down one of these days, but I wouldn't utilize this truck the way it's supposed to be utilized. That whole idea where it holds one wheel and you can do a complete U-turn, that is really, really cool. Okay, to activate the trail turning so it locks up one wheel and turns around, obviously you need to put the truck in four-wheel drive. Obviously you need to put it in drive, and then you push this little button right here, the one with the four wheels. It has a little turn. Push that button right there until it lights up, and then here we go. I mean, I was messing with that forever. I was just sitting there just doing U-turns and U-turns and U-turns in one spot, and boy, that was a lot of fun. It's just, but you can't use it on the daily road, obviously. You got to use it on a dirt road. It's very limited on when it comes down to daily use. Now, is it comfortable in here? It's not bad. It really isn't that bad. I feel like there's things out there a little bit more on the comfier side. I'm a pretty heavy guy, and I feel like I already got this seat pretty flat. That's what it feels to me. Would the seats do well if it ever got wet? No, absolutely not. I think that it would just destroy these seats if they ever got wet. At the end of the day, you're paying 40 grand for a Bronco. You're paying for the name at the end of the day. Is that something I would want to take home and pay 40 grand for? Absolutely not. For me, no, but understand this is my opinion. Is this for someone else? Absolutely. Just cruising, I'm doing 65 right now down this back road here, and I'm doing 16.1 miles to the gallon. For a square box like this, that's actually not half bad. Is it optimal to, I think people understand is whatever they see on that sheet is best case scenarios. And that's what pisses me off more than anything. It's a best case scenario. At best case scenario, you'll get 20 miles to the gallon, but realistically you won't, which is really upsetting because out of a 4-cylinder, I was hoping for a little bit more. Give me to that 20 and I'll be happy at that point. But I still think the 10-speed really hurts it. And now this thing does have 373 gears on the back, which obviously hurt it when it comes down to fuel economy. But you got a 10-speed automatic. And I'm revving at 70, I'm putting it up to 70 miles an hour. I'm revving just under 2,000 RPMs. And I'm still only getting 16.1 miles to the gallon. Obviously, once you break these things in, hopefully they'll get better, but right now that's what we're getting. They're really proud of this thing, I will say that. It's a little on the, I'm super duper proud to be a Bronco owner. Got the Bronco here, Bronco there. It doesn't say it was built, but it does say it was designed and engineered in Dearborn, Michigan. It doesn't say it was built here, it was designed and engineered. Now, I really wish they would have said, built proudly in America. One more thing as I get on the highway here, I am foot to the floor, and I tell you what, it's not quick. I will say that. It's not a very quick one. They do have a V6 version of this truck, and that one has 330 horsepower. Now, if it was me, I'm going to pick with the V6 twin turbo. But honestly, I don't get how the V6 can have 330 horsepower, but the 4-cylinder can have 300. It does cruise nicely at 80 miles an hour, but there is a lot of wind noise. Man, there's a lot of wind noise in this. This still needs to function as your daily, and I still just can't see taking a 40 grand truck or SUV or whatever you want to call it and taking it off-roading, beating the piss out of it and being proud that you did that. Realistically, I don't know about y'all, but money's a little bit more value to me than taking it and throwing it away. This truck obviously is 40 grand. I bet they're trying to sell it for 60. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say thank you to my editor, Trevor, who has helped me do this entire video. We're trying to up our production. We're trying to up our quality on how things are done. You gotta get an idea, is this the vehicle for me? Realistically, this thing isn't terrible. Now, overall, I would like to thank everyone who has watched these videos, who has subscribed, our new subscribers, our old subscribers. Every video and every comment that you guys give us, it gives us an idea of what we could do better for the next. I also would like to thank Seth Wadley Ford for giving us the vehicle. Here in Pauls Valley, what is your feels on it? Was it a good review? Was it a bad review? Give us your input. Do you own one? Do you feel that what I'm saying is true? Do you feel like what I'm saying is hogwash? Be honest. I want to hear it. Say it, leave a comment, hit a like, hit a subscribe button. We've got more of this coming. We even got one of a Mega Rex coming, but not today. Unfortunately, we got to wait on that one. A lot of approvals. But other than that, everyone, thank you for watching. We'll see you all next time.